The U.S. housing market is collapsing before our eyes, and Washington, D.C. has become ground zero for one of the biggest real estate shifts in U.S. history. Home prices have dropped $139,000 in just 30 days, and more than 8,000 homes are on the market, half of them listed in just the last 30 days. A market that's usually very low on home inventory during the winter is now flooded with motivated home sellers. Before we begin, today's video is sponsored by Promeno Nutritional Sciences. It started with government layoffs and buyouts that forced thousands of homeowners to list and sell their homes. A whopping 65,000 federal employees took a buyout offer.
President Donald Trump's plan to buy out tens of thousands of federal employees.
More than 65,000 workers accepting the offer.
3,600 health and human service employees were laid off.
DOJ, as it's called, is a non-governmental agency, and it laid off about 3,600 probationary health and human services employees on Friday.
DC government buildings are now only 12% occupied.
An organization as large as the United States government, tens of thousands of buildings, all sitting empty at taxpayer expense.
These workers do not need to live in Washington, D.C. anymore. They may not be able to afford their mortgages, and they may need a cheaper living accommodation. Some outright just want to sell and get out before the market turns. With more supply and fewer home buyers, it's a recipe for plummeting home prices.
Many home buyers around the country are still feeling the pinch, but in some places, home prices are now falling.
The rising cost of owning a home, even if home prices are falling, higher borrowing cost, sky-high home insurance, record high property taxes, and inflation that does not seem to be going away anytime soon.
It is not your imagination. A new report out today. Inflation hit 3% for the first time since June.
These combined are making housing less affordable than ever. In 2019, the average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage was 3.94%, and this is for a $400,000 loan amount. This translates to a monthly principal and interest payment of $1,896. This does not include property taxes or insurance. Now, as of February 16th, 2025, you're looking at 6.875% on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage if you have impeccable credit. For the average home buyer, it's north of 7%.
Mortgage rates on the rise as we head into the new year now. The average rate of a 30-year fixed mortgage now 6.85%.
This week, the 30-year mortgage rate is at 6.91%.
The increase on a perfect credit score borrower, 800 credit for example, $2,626 every single month. This is just principal and interest payments. This represents a 38.6% increase since 2019 for the same loan amount. In addition to elevated mortgage payments, homeowners are contending with increased insurance costs and sky-high property taxes.
More and more homeowners are abandoning home insurance because of skyrocketing costs.
83% of long-term policyholders have seen their rates increase over the last 5 years.
Property taxes are on the rise, and it's really hitting homeowners really hard.
Her property taxes climbed well above 100%, and now she's been priced out of her home.
Over the past 2 years, 80% of homeowners nationally have experienced increased property taxes. And during the same period, 70% of U.S. homeowners have increased insurance costs. This isn't just about Washington, D.C. For years, high-income earners left cities like New York, San Francisco, D.C., Los Angeles, Boston.
A lot of wealthier Californians are leaving the Golden State and taking their money with them.
People leaving California and moving to Arizona, Nevada, Texas, or Florida.
For Florida, Texas, Tennessee, places with lower taxes and freedom.
Florida attracted more new residents and more new income than any other state,
complemented by cheaper homes and remote work flexibility. Between 2020 and 2021, states like California experienced significant outflows of residents. Multi-billion-dollar tech companies, influencers, celebrities like Joe Rogan, everyone was leaving California. California, for instance, saw a $24 billion loss due to all the businesses and high-income earners that fled the state. Conversely, states like Texas and Florida witnessed substantial inflows. Texas gained a significant number of new residents, many attracted by the absence of state income tax and lower cost of living. In Palm Beach, Florida, wealthy New Yorkers drove home prices from $370,000 in 2019 to $665,000 in 2024.
You have to afford a $2,800 monthly mortgage to buy a median-priced home in West Palm Beach area.
Texas saw an increase of 35% from out-of-state home buyers, in large part due to companies relocating to Austin.
Dozens of businesses relocating or expanding in Austin just this year.
Many of them are startups from other states.
And many other cities all throughout the state. But now that's all starting to change. We're entering layoffs unlike anything we've ever seen.
Thousands of probationary employees have been fired at federal agencies as the Trump administration ramps up its efforts to slash the workforce.
Tens of thousands of workers have already been let go from the Department of Health, Homeland Security, and now the Energy Department.
And the end of remote work.
If they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want them to work from home.
Many Wall Street firms have targeted for employees to return to the office full time.
Amazon announced it will return to a 5-day in-office work week.
This is reversing a 5-year trend that has unfolded. Tech and finance companies are demanding that employees return to the office.
Dell Technologies confirms to KVUE it is ending remote and hybrid work from home starting March 3rd.
70% of employers nationwide say that they plan to end remote work in 2025.
The laptop class is living in La La Land. It's messed up to assume that yes, they have to go to work, but you don't. It's not just a productivity thing. I think it's morally wrong.
Listen, it doesn't work for young kids. It doesn't work for spontaneity. It doesn't really work for management.
Mass layoffs are happening everywhere. When workers can't work from anywhere, does the demand for housing in Florida, Texas, and Tennessee hold up? Or will these hotspot cities face their own housing crisis next? Are we walking into a full-blown housing crisis? Or is this just the beginning of a much bigger real estate and economic reset? I believe we will see many real estate markets go through substantial shifts, from Miami to Phoenix to Austin to Nashville and many markets in between. This will not just have a net impact on housing. The US is undergoing a major shift in its approach to health, and one company is making waves in the nutrition space. Today, I want to introduce you to Promeno Nutritional Sciences, stock ticker MUSLF, a company that has spent 17 years and $20 million on research and development to formulate a patent, clinically studied protein-based supplement. Now the company's products are available in the US and Canada, generating revenue, and yet the entire market cap of Promeno is just $7 million. That means that it's trading for less than a third of its cost for its R&D investment. Why is this a big deal? NASA-funded research with 25 plus human clinical studies, patented protein formula, the only one in the world backed by peer-reviewed clinical data, 2 times more effective than whey protein, sugar-free, low-calorie, and dairy-free. Consumer response has been overwhelming. Tastemakers and Nelson IQ testing found that Promeno's flagship product, Rejuvenate, outperformed 67% of Nelson's database with above average purchase intent and high sales growth. The numbers speak for themselves. First year sales, 2.3 million units and 19.5 million. Second year growth between 30 and 35%, exceeding 25 million in US sales. Clinically proven to be 141% better than whey, 252% better than soy, and 292% better than pea protein. Despite these milestones, Promeno is valued at just $7 million, compared to the $20 million spent on R&D. I've just laid out several compelling reasons why Promeno, stock ticker MUSLF, is worth looking into. This video is sponsored by Promeno Nutritional Sciences. But don't just take my word for it. Check out all the details with the link below and decide for yourself. We will see a trickle-down effect with property tax collections, with local tax collections, entire cities could start to walk into a deficit over the amount of income that is likely leaving their city. I believe what we're walking into over the next couple of years will likely be a surge of property insurance rates. If you look at what's unfolding in California, in Florida, in many cities all throughout America, what you're seeing is one disaster after the next. And if employers that are paying $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 a year are now saying you have to come back to work after these employees just locked into a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 3%, now knowing that they can't sell their property, likely for what they paid given what's happening in the economy, they're likely going to list their property for rent, they're going to try to find a new job, or they're going to walk away. But how many people will have that flexibility? That's the big question. I believe we're going to walk into a scenario coming very soon that's going to present a massive, massive opportunity for smart and savvy real estate investors to acquire incredible properties at substantial discounts in a lot of these hotspot areas. But I think this is going to go one step further past housing. I think we're going to walk into a completely different economy where people are going to start prioritizing different things in their lives. Before it was the Lamborghinis and it was living this fancy, fancy lifestyle. I think in the future it's going to be about health, it's going to be about wellness, it's going to be about living in the moment. And a lot less people, I think, are focused over a 10 or 15, 20-year horizon than they were before. And so I think we're walking into a major shift in our economy, and I think we're going to likely start to see some significant changes because of this. This also leads these large corporations to lean into AI and find ways in which they can cut costs, because these employees are likely going to have to just walk away from their careers without severance due to these return to office mandates. What do you think about this? Where do you see all this going? To me, this is quite shocking just how quickly the Washington, D.C. housing market has unfolded. This has been 30 days, less than 30 days, and we're already seeing substantial downward pressure on these home prices. And as this economy starts to shift more and more and more, this ripple effect is going to be felt by millions. Let's have a conversation below. And I'm very curious, what are your plans to capitalize on what I think is going to be the greatest investing opportunity in American history? And for more information on today's sponsor, you can click the link in the description just below. And I'll catch you next video.